Nextcloud.
Thank you.
Okay. We all now know that we are being recorded and this meeting will be posted to the City of Sandy's website at a later date.
Oh, that means we have to be nice.
So, yes, mind your P's and Q's.
I never worked for Joseph.
Always in trouble trying.
Oh. Happening, and I think we're talking about. What we do. I don't see Christina Babcock either. Didn't she say she was gonna zoom in? Okay. So if you guys happen to see that someone is waiting in the audience and I don't notice, will you tell me, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone for coming. And our spring transit advisory board meeting. Attendance sheets going down. Let's. We got a lot going on this, pass on updates, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Unless anybody has any questions.
Joe is stuck in Vegas
Ah,
because the airport's a mess, he said.
oh no.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I feel so sorry for him. No.
Well,
It's rough. It's rough life being stuck in Vegas.
thank you for being here, Joe.
Yes, thank you.
Is that Chris? It's up on the top.
That,
left.
yes, that is
Hi,
Chris.
Chris. Okay. Any corrections, additions to the December meeting minutes? Can't see anything. I was gonna put this all together in March agenda for today's meeting. Any corrections or additions to that? Okay. Can we get a, yeah, we're just gonna do. All in favor of approving the December meeting minutes and the March agenda, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. And now to our city liaison, Ms. Christine.
Oh, yes, fabulous, especially. I
That's
don't
great.
have a whole lot tonight. I did want to share, if you haven't taken the community survey, if it's still on the city website, please do. Something that to me was, I don't know why I want to promote this department and what I do is, there were, I can't remember the exact number, between 1,010 and 1,017 responses 2 weeks ago when Greg brought it back to us. 84.4% of the people had never ridden our transit system.
Not surprised.
And the main reason was because they didn't need to rely on it for transportation. That is a huge discrepancy in our services and our ridership. And so that just pushes me forward with my platform on council to get it out there that our transit system really is the best around. So that was actually a little bit shocking to me. People didn't realize that it was free in the city. They didn't realize it was $1. They didn't realize the electric buses. There's just a lot that, as far as myself, I'll speak for myself on council, that I would like to make sure that I communicate when I'm in a community that it is a very good service. It's very safe. My teenage son now has taken it twice. Without issue. I did not worry about it. It's, you know.
For him.
Yes, yeah, and he didn't have incidents, there were no delays, I did not feel at all like he was at risk of any sort of inconsistency, so. That was really all I had, that statistic was really, a big jump between ridership and non-riderships. If you get a chance, take the survey if you haven't already, if it's still up. I tried to look for it, I couldn't find it on there, but that's just because it's me. And I was irritated that I didn't do it beforehand.
I couldn't remember if it was still up or not. Is it?
I thought it was, yeah.
We saw some of the data too, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it was. So hopefully we can build on that. I thought Greg did a really good job with, it wasn't just a standard survey of
Mhm.
standard questions.
Yeah.
It was very focused and it really helps us as a city and, you know, our departments and our leadership to kind of hone in on what we can do to promote what we do and get the word out on, you know, all the things we're working so hard on, so. If it's still out there, if you get a chance, if you haven't taken it, take a look at it, or go look at the statistics on it. I'm sure that
Yeah.
the results are posted on the city, so.
How was it made, Christina, the whole survey?
I think it's just the community, I believe it was just the community survey,
Yeah.
City of Sandy community survey.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Yeah, and that was actually towards his graduate, his
Mhm.
graduate degree.
Yep.
It was something he needed to fulfill for his school. But he put a lot of time into it and took a lot of advice from us on, you know, what we thought was really important to ask and kind of honed in on it, so. I
Yeah.
thought he did a really good job.
Yeah, and we could, if everyone is interested, talk about those results in depth at our next meeting maybe, and just see what we think we can do around it. I had my meeting with Tyler today, my one-on-one with the
Mhm.
city manager, and he let me know, we kind of talked about, you know, your idea to have people ride the bus and talk city council, be on the bus, meet your city council on the bus, which is a
Mhm.
great idea. And so we were talking about when we should do that, and he mentioned that he wants to have city council at the farmer's market this summer, and
Yeah.
so he seemed to think, maybe I will go to the farmer's market when you're there, so that we can talk about Sam, maybe we give free passes out while
Yeah.
we're there, talk about the services, ask the public about the services,
I mean, if
And
we get
then-
10 people on with.
Yeah,
One of
yeah.
us, the mayor, myself, whoever's willing to go, they tell another 5 people, they tell another 5 people. That service is invaluable all the time,
Yeah,
but especially during Winterfest and Mountain Festival. And just like tomorrow, I'm leaving my car at the mechanics and I'm gonna get on a Sam to go. I'm gonna take the trolley back to my home because
Right.
it stops right there. And I
Perfect.
wait for 3 hours at the mechanics.
that's
Yeah,
perfect.
So
Yep.
it's that sort of convenience that I think people think it's really hard to figure out, and it's really well laid out if you know where to look, so. You know, do a little hand holding and introduction and hopefully it will.
Yeah,
It will get.
great
people-
idea.
People moving.
Yeah. And then after the farmer's market, we'll do the ride along and,
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
Yep.
That sounds like a great plan. Thank you for that. Much appreciated.
Okay. New business. PGE contract.
Yes, so, we took the PGE contract, which is for the upgrades to, our charging infrastructure. I can bring up the plan if you want, or I can just tell you about it, but we took the contract to city council, essentially to give you a really quick reminder. We, entered the fleet partner program with PGE in 2022. PGE ran out of money, so we then pivoted and got a federal grant that triggered, the NEPA conversations and analysis and consultations, which we had to do anyway with this, so anyway. Couple years later, PGE has money again, we re-entered with PGE. The project is now a $700,000 project. PGE,
From.
up from about 460 something ballpark. Part of that is because they expedited a part, because our buses are already here, so we're paying more for the switch gear. I always say it backwards. So we're paying, you know, kind of a premium for that part. It was borrowed, I guess, a project in Escalade ended up not using it, so they were able to switch it over to our project, but they had to hold on to it for us. So, they are gonna cover about 418,000, which leaves us at 300 and something thousand. Which we have a federal grant that more than covers, so city council signed the contract. I then met with PGE and they were like, oh, we noticed that the president of your council voted against it. You know, we were surprised. Do you want to, it? And I said, no, he supported the project. He wanted sunset language, which the rest of the council said, let's not hold this up over it. Let's just keep moving. And they ended up giving us sunset language. If we don't use the equipment for 5 years, then, it's turned back over to us. So that was really his only.
I think it was really important to us also to present the fact that if that didn't get approved when it did, the grant
Would
would be
expire.
gone.
Yeah,
And so, for the majority of us, I think it was nice language to have. For me, it wasn't a yes or a no with that clause, either added or, unamended, but, like everything, we're looking at money that we may not get if we don't move, and so,
that's, thank you for reminding me
so
about
you
that.
presented
because-
me well, and it made a whole lot more sense to
To move
someone
Yeah,
who had, reservations,
yeah,
but, it, with all departments, you get in a place where it's your back's against the wall, you have to decide.
Yep.
And so, thank you for presenting it that way.
Yeah.
That was.
Thank you
Made it
for-
very clear and apparent that we needed to move on.
yeah, because of that NEPA process, as you all know, we lost a couple years, so that grant expires in June. So if we had to go back to PGE and rework a contract and then come back in front of city council. We were running the risk of then not having the $354,000 to cover. What we need to cover it, so. It is signed. I met with PGE Tuesday, I believe. We're moving forward. I think next week. They are on site for one final walkthrough of the project. And then my understanding is it will begin. It's gonna take several months. There will be, I believe, about a month that we're gonna lose this parking lot. So FYI. I think it's a week or two, maybe that we'll lose the whole parking lot. And then maybe a week or two that it's just the back strip that and we can still come in. But that'll be great. The operations team won't have to drive our bus over to Fred Meyer to charge. I giggle inside every time I see our giant 35-foot blazing bright blue bus sitting and charging at the Fred Meyer parking lot.
I think it's good advertising.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm shocked no one has put it on Facebook yet and said, has anybody noticed that the city of Sandy charges their bus here at Fred Meyer? Because I think it's hilarious. But anyway, so yeah, we have a contract and we are finally getting that project started. Crossing our fingers that we'll get it done as soon as possible.
You have an estimated, I was writing, do you have an estimated time when you're hoping it will be done?
Well, the schedule they showed me in our last meeting didn't start till July, and I said, whoa, 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 why is this not starting until July? And it had it wrapped up by December. It's actually only a couple of months, I think, that it's construction, and then there's like some energy optimization they have to do. And they said, oh, the construction was starting in July because we put the approval date at April, and it's all moved back to March, because originally when we went to city council, beginning was March. But I think it is a couple of months of construction and then a couple of months of them doing behind the scenes things. So I believe 4 to 6 months.
Bylaws.
Yeah, so in December, we went out for more board members and we were very fortunate to pick up Joe here, for example. And we realized we didn't really have official bylaws in place, and so we had put some together a while back. I think we briefly talked about them here, but I don't know that we did a real deep dive. So we put these in place to have bylaws for now, but I wanted to bring them in front of you. And I know all of you know that bylaws can be something that people are like, yeah, great. Or you can end up talking about bylaws, and it's usually the latter. You end up talking about bylaws for like 2 years before you get consensus. So, these are pretty simple and straightforward, but I do want your guidance about, so you see that it's highlighted. And if you are online, Nancy sent bylaws and she sent finance information before the meeting started so that you could have it in front of you if you want it. I think, right?
Yeah, I said, Joe, you should have it, and Chris.
So, one of the things that I wanted to bring up is that board members and applicants must be residents of Sandy, own a business in Sandy, or be served by Sandy Area Metro's fixed route service. We've had conversations in the past about, well, what if, and particularly because most other boards, you need to live in Sandy, right? Or own a business in Sandy. We added that you could be on the route because we said, well, what if you owned a business, you know, in between here and Estacada. And so we have a service there that they might want to have comments about, but they're not physically in the city of Sandy. So, I wonder if you guys are okay with this language, you believe that is valid, you believe they should be residents of the city of Sandy. I will also add that something interesting came up about is Mount Hood Express considered Sandy Area Metro, right? So what if they are on a Mount Hood Express route? I personally believe, so the county does have an advisory board now for their services, and I believe that's probably more appropriate for someone whose concerns. They are always welcome to come give public comment at any meeting, but to be on the board, I think you probably need to be served by us or own a business in town or be a resident in town.
What if it ever came to the point, if there's no limits on two from the city, two business owners? Two from someone on the route, what if it ever came to the point when it was no city residents? And
So like have a minimum.
have a minimum, I.
That's actually a good
I
idea.
think that's.
So we could
probably
come
makes
up
the
with a
most sense.
variety of representation, like.
Yeah. Yeah,
With, yeah.
and you decide, it doesn't have to be equal, it doesn't have to be even, but, I can see potential. Issues coming up if it just gets too spread out, and then what we work on in the city and our departments gets, filtered out to, non-resident sort of concerns, which we don't have a whole lot of control.
That's a great idea.
So.
Yeah.
So maybe
that would
some-
be my
Okay.
recommendation.
Yep.
So maybe stating a minimum of 33% of the board members, city residents, or something, some number.
Okay, that's a good idea.
It's a good point, Christie. Because this is similar, I know on the library advisory board, we have members who are city residents, but then also members from the unincorporated area, because the unincorporated area is actually in our service area.
Right,
So
and
just like
yes,
non-residents, within this designation here, they're actually in our service area.
yeah. And that was kind of the approach originally was, well, we have a larger service area than just the city.
Right.
But you're right, the city of Sandy residents should be
Everybody
primarily.
always paying the taxes.
Yes,
and
it
paying the
should
fees, and
consist primarily of
That would be. my
Sandy
thought.
residents, yeah. And then maybe like 1 or 2 positions are available if you don't live in the city of Sandy or own a business. I am pretty good with everything else that's in here. I will say that if a member should have 2 consecutive unexcused absences from regular meetings, they will be replaced. Everybody good with that? Okay, great. They did it a little differently this year, and I thought it went really well. Where instead of being interviewed by the city council, you came and did kind of like a round robin dating sort of, like you had a couple of minutes in front of city council, and then it was time to change, and another city council person would come and talk to you about why you wanted to join the board, etc. And I actually thought it was a really informal way for board members to get to know city council, and you are liaisons to the city council, so it's really good to build that relationship instead of it being kind of interviewee.
Right. What I liked about it was, they could ask me questions, or I could share, hey, I've lived in the city 30 years, how long have you lived here? Or whereabouts do you live and what do you like best? And it was, just much less, I think you got more real answers and
Yeah,
reactions from
Yeah.
people than if they feel like they're being interviewed by a panel. It was
Yeah.
much more. So, I thought, when I first heard about it, I was like, oh.
me too.
This is, are they gonna ding a bell? And,
Yeah,
and they did. But it worked really well, actually, because I've sat through interviews for other things that weren't that design. And it, not only is it intimidating, which when you're running for a board or a position, you have to be prepared to speak no matter what. But it was a good way that, we could kind of share. And what do we do at the library? And, it was just much more relaxed. I enjoyed it.
I did too.
It was fun.
Yeah,
I think
I
it
was
much
really
more
glad I went.
effective, actually.
Me too. Yeah. Yep.
And speaking from the other side of the table, it was really
Yeah.
kind of a fun experience and getting to be able to interact with people on a one-to-one basis.
I'm gonna try and switch my speaker over to the TV. Wonder if I can do that on here. I don't think so.
Is it that Samsung?
I don't think so. I was in Sam.
Samsung TV.
Is it? All right, Joe, give us a holler.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
No, I don't know whether you heard what I said a moment ago, but just speaking from the other side of the table, it was actually a fun experience, and it was neat to have the opportunity to interact with people on a one-to-one basis.
Yeah, thank you. I almost, well, I was gonna say, I think everyone should do it, but maybe everyone will as the terms change. Maybe we can go through the process. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Okay, well, yes, go on.
Oh, just under
course.
before 5 on meetings, it's just a missing word that we want there. Board shall meet quarterly or as needed. Very first line.
Oh. Wait,
As needed or as needed. Not less than 3 times a year.
you know, it's funny because even with you telling me that, I'm like, it's what it says. Thank you. Um. All right, not less than 3 times a year. Great. If you find anything else that you want to bring back to us and have us update or change, or you decide you don't like, let us know. And we will put some numbers to the composition. Perfect, thank you.
Okay, CTC bus stops.
We have bus stops.
Huh?
We have bus stops, sort of.
Post in the ground, I saw the post in the ground.
Poster in the ground. How many did we put out?
18.
18. So there's 18 bus stops out there now. The poster in the ground. We had a slight sign hiccup. One of the boxes went missing, which is really weird. It was in the barn and I don't know, we messaged the mechanic that we used to use today to see if maybe they accidentally took it when they took a machine out that they used to have here. Excuse me. Regardless, we will have bus stop signs up one way or another, very soon. Do you know, did we take the one box to him?
No,
No, okay.
because we were trying to find the other one, so as soon as it'll be the first, we just need to get in, do them before the first, like, when the.
Yeah, I think we can easily have Ian do it tomorrow. He's gonna have about 4 hours just free, so.
Great.
We need to grab a couple other signs, so that we have more of the. Before he goes, so.
Okay.
Maybe,
Yeah,
but PW will have to be the ones to take off the little signs from the ones that are.
We can push it off till next week if needed. If we need to push it off, it might be.
it might be better to do it next week, so we can have a couple days to grab the signs.
Okay, so sounds like this week or next, we might just send it out and have half a sign.
We're,
Cause we're only gonna get like 2 out there. So-
No, we'll be able to get all the way through Warren, it'll just be. Just stops in Warren.
I know, but I'm saying there's only 2 bus stops out there, I think, that aren't being used. So we can grab the ones off our wall
Yes,
and just send them. We won't wanna put it off for 2. We'll have bus stop scares,
yes.
poster in. I will also add, we kind of drug our feet on bus stops because as you all know, I really thought TriMet would pull that funding from us with the STIF funding issues, and TriMet already has budget issues. And there's kind of been a back and forth about TriMet and STIF and blah, blah, blah. And then they magically agreed to everything that we've been requesting for the past couple of years. And we're supposed to have an agreement by Friday. To look over and see if we're willing to sign, so that agreement has regional coordination funding for. They keep saying as long as STIF exists, they intend to honor regional coordination funding. And the paperwork is for 6 years of regional coordination funding, so. We're putting in bus stop signs, we added 2 runs, we'll probably add some more runs fairly soon because it's quite a bit of money. I mean, it's $900,000 for a biennium. We rolled over like 300,000 from the first biennium. So we have quite a bit of funding that can only be used on that route. And it looks like they plan to continue that regional coordination pot of money. So, which I find,
Just sign the check.
Remarkable.
Sign the check, put it in the bank, start ordering signs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because, we kept saying, well, if we go down, we're going down in a blaze of glory, cause we have funding, let's put in signs, let's add 2 runs, and if it gets shut down, it gets shut down, and then here comes an agreement that has 6 years in it, so, yeah,
Make it.
we'll take it, we'll keep running it. I will also tell you side story that Jerry substitute taught at Boring Middle, and his car is not, the brakes went out, so he took the bus back. I dropped him off, he took the bus home. And the driver was saying, oh yeah, we don't have a lot of regulars yet, but I do, it's funny that you're a teacher because my other regulars are 2 nurses and a firefighter. And I was like, that's what city council needs to know.
Yep.
That is who is on that bus, not,
Who they fear is on.
who they fear is on the bus. Yeah. So we'll get those nurses and those firefighters on that city council right along.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's just a side story. So,
But can you imagine how great that would be as a nurse at Kaiser after a laboriously long shift to not have to drive?
yeah. Yeah.
Have
You
more
work
stress.
10 hours,
That
you
you
ride a
just
bus
like-
in, you ride a bus back. I'm sure it's wonderful. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Zach, operations update, please.
Yeah, everything's been going pretty smoothly overall. It's been really fun seeing the new winter bid in action. I think the time wise and all the stop wise, we did a great job on that. It's working out awesome. Scheduling wise, it actually worked out a little.
Let's
See
shut
how
this
it's turned out. Overall smooth once again, mostly tuned to the weather because the mountain routes only had like maybe a week of changing out, maybe 2 weeks of changing out. Couple hairy days out there, about a week ago, we got like 3 snow and everything. But overall, it has been a pretty mild winter, so it's been pretty easy on that side of things. You'll see the electric buses were on more of a set schedule now. We have one running in the morning on sand and one in the afternoon. And props to our supervisory staff for getting those charged on a regular basis every single day to the bus through the day. Takes a lot of time, effort, and coordination, especially because we can only actually put the bus in the far most west electric charging spot. So if that's taken, we have to wait until it opens up, so they've done a great job of ensuring our buses are charged on a daily basis. We have another bid coming up in April. It's gonna be basically the same thing as this one, except Mountain 8 is going out the window for summer. And we'll see what's the next December bid. So that'll be very similar times and scheduling, all the same. As the current one, it's been going smoothly. Little highlight, we had the police department up here, did some driver safety meetings on the 5th.
Thank you for bringing that up. I had forgotten already.
Yeah, I think it was great. A lot of drivers, I got a lot of positive feedback on that, and I'm making sure they know we're caring about their safety. And planning ahead for any situation that may occur on a bus, near a transit line that may involve them, and make sure that our passengers and our drivers are safe as possible. Little update for just SOPs and whatnot. I'm a big I like standard operating procedures, like things written down. And we noticed there's some procedures that weren't quite written down, especially incident responses. So if we have an accident on a route, or if we have a medical emergency, does dispatch know what to do? Does our supervisory staff or our drivers know what to do? So I'm in the middle of getting all of our SOPs together for that, and a binder. We also have a driver binder in the office now. Our newsletter policies in it as well, for different accidents. Other than that, nothing new or crazy. If you have any questions, I'm always here. That's it.
Just something to add really quickly, we are fully staffed in our police department. So, you'll notice them out and about doing traffic detail a lot more. I don't know. I've lived here 30 years, and when I'd be pulled over many years ago in Beaverton, they say, oh, you're from Sandy, I've never got a ticket out there. I know, you can go. Because we used to be known for really strict traffic policies, and we've kind of gone away from that just because it was harder to staff. We've grown. I think we have a statistic of 34,000 cars a day through the downtown port.
Yeah.
So having a fully staffed police department is, it's really made a difference in the presence of, law enforcement out here, so don't speak. They're watching.
They did a great job. In the training, they were very thorough about, if you're in this room like we are right now and an active shooter comes in, what do you do? And then we went and got on the bus and, if you have a problem passenger, what do you do? And they ran through just some like scenarios and things you could do, the drivers. It was very interactive. The drivers were like, "Why I would do that? I would slam on my brakes, or I would, I would do this, I would do that. How many exits do you see sitting in this room?" And I'm like, "1." And they're like, "No, there's like 12." It was really good. It was really good. They did a great job. It was chief and this school resource officer.
Almost.
Maybe it was almost. Yeah,
Something like that.
that sounds right.
Yeah, I really appreciate them coming out too. Plus, we had that, one driver accidentally put the, calling on one sign on the exterior of the bus, so they got pulled over. It was great to see if the police actually responded to it when they saw it. So our drivers are aware that Sandy Police Department's on the job.
Yeah.
There to protect them.
Yeah. She accidentally pushed the call 911 on the reader board. And she was pulled over as soon as she pulled out of the Sandy Transit Center. It was almost immediate. So,
I think it was about within 2 minutes of her route actually started.
Wow.
yeah. It was great. What a way to learn your lesson of where that sign trigger is.
And to know that it's effective.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And today is actually National Transit Operator Day. Anybody didn't know, wants to say thank you to our operators. Actually, I think it's a week long, but today is the day.
They do a great job.
Old business. Route changes.
Yeah, so in December, we made a lot of changes. To almost every route. We took some hours off of the late night Sam Gresham and we put them on the weekend, is what we did. We added 2 runs to the Clackamas Town Center. We added stops in Estacada. Did not add extra runs, but we did add some. We did add 2 runs
Yes.
in December.
Yes.
See what I know? 2 runs in December. And included their industrial complex area because they requested, I think I told you guys about that a meeting or 2 ago. And the shoppers' hours shifted because there wasn't a lot of ridership on the later evening runs. So we have the same amount of, actually, we kind of combined it, so there's 1 more extra run. But it's kind of in the same amount of time. And it's moved a little bit earlier in the day. And has a less of a break. So when we first added the second run, if you all remember, we did it for STIF funding to serve the after school programs. And we completely redid the route so that it would go by all the schools and it would do that after school. But that late run just doesn't. And the feedback we got was that people didn't feel like they had enough time in the evening. They worried that if they took the evening run, because there was a pretty big break between the early run, then there was a break, and then we wanted to hit after school programs, but they were worried they didn't have enough time to do their shopping and to make the last bus. So we shortened that break. And we're able to get another run in there and move it a little earlier. So hopefully we'll have some better ridership in the evening. Doesn't run quite as late. Casey is now driving it. He's very good. RTW has been very good about their expectations of our drivers. And we had a driver on that route who I'm pretty sure is the reason the ridership was falling.
I wasn't aware of that one.
Yeah, and, he no longer works here. And Casey is a very nice.
He loves it. He's got it down in a minute now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Ridership is definitely improving.
yeah, so,
I'm wondering if maybe you'll need to expand that later again when it's summertime. And it's lighter, longer, and
Mhm.
people are doing more activities later in the evening,
yeah.
that might be.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
know,
think that's
and by not
consideration.
having that break, we might also find that people feel like they have more time because maybe they go a little earlier. When we had the break, it was only like a couple hours in the evening that it ran again. And so, you know, it's hard to, if you miss that last run, you're calling us and seeing if we have room in the schedule to get you home. So, and we often don't, or you might be sitting there for an hour before we can get to you because of wherever we are. So, I get it, maybe now that we have more of a cohesive schedule, we'll see some ridership back on the evenings too, and summer, yeah, I think it's lighter. If it stays like this, it's so beautiful out. Did I miss anything about the changes?
You mentioned Clapper's got two extra rooms.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Workshop change, so we talked about that, shopper forward.
Mountain Express didn't really change. Village Shuttle did because, you know, we interline, that's going really well, by the way. I don't think we've probably talked about that enough. The interlining of Estacada and Village Shuttle has really improved ridership on both of those services. Yeah, it's been improving every month. It's really nice to see.
I'm sure you are well aware, and I'm talking a lot tonight, sorry.
I love it.
I'm sure you're well aware, but they are putting in so many houses in Estacada. Is that going to, trigger more stops, along the way, or are they close enough to where? Cause I think they're putting 700, I think I heard.
They are now.
Months
the
ago, I
fastest
heard it
growth.
was 700 at least in that one subdivision, right, off of, Eagle Creek Road.
So, Muna participates in all of their, transportation meetings. They love our service. They are beyond grateful to have it. There were conversations in the past about more service from us, and the answer was no. I mean, you know, we're not looking to serve your town.
Right.
Now, do we add, I could see particularly going in before you get to the library where all the neighborhoods are going in on the left. You know, I could see possibly putting another bus stop in there that we don't currently have.
There are ones in front of all of them,
There are.
Yes.
Okay.
so
There's,
they can't,
we're good.
and the bus can deviate if somebody.
Right, there's just so many residents.
Yeah.
When they were building it, I didn't even know they could get that many dwellings in that little area. And I believe most of them are single family, the ones that I can see, the ones closest to town.
Mhm.
I think I did read that they're now also facing the same issues that the city of Sandy is facing as far as water.
They've
Wastewater.
already started building it.
They built, I
Yeah.
think they've invested like 160. It's a big number for their water system.
Yeah,
But yes, they would. I don't think they were in a consent decree like we are,
Mhm.
but they were butting up against them to where they had to do something.
Fun times.
Yeah. I mean, their population is less than half of ours.
Yeah.
But putting in so many thousands of new residents, it's gonna put a big burden on the community. And the schools, which obviously cities don't have control over, but. I mean, development is great and bringing new business and economic development is great. There's a trade-off though.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Don't even in high school.
I think they needed a new high school for quite a while.
They tried to get one and unfortunately it was a no vote for
Yeah.
most people. I think it's like,
I think there's more, it's more geared towards growing families now than I mean, I always kind of thought Estacado was where you go when you kind of were done with your kids in school and living in the city life and kind of get a little bit on the outskirts and be more in the woods and all of that's kind of pushing out further.
Yeah,
So I think they're gonna need more sustainable infrastructure for growing families and more diverse age groups.
well, we will happily bring them to Sandy.
Bring them up here. As long as they don't
They-
get good minor, good.
Right? We are happy to have them jump aboard and come to Sandy for all their needs that they don't have.
Do you have any ridership? Numbers?
You know what?
Roughly.
You guys, my battery's running low.
your plug.
Yes. I don't guess I brought ridership to the meeting. We can send it out.
Or just an idea. Yeah, that'd be-
I know that last year, 2025, we had increased ridership in every month except February,
And
and that was still pretty close.
this year, we're pretty much on par with what happened last year at this point, so January and February, right on.
We did, Muna and I were just having a conversation though, and we've had this conversation several times. And I talked to Tyler about it today, and we've talked to Zach, who said that he could put a driver on to audit the Gresham route, because for at least a year now, when I drive through town, there are always people waiting at the bus stops. I drove home last night, there were 6 at the transit center. I mean, there's almost always people like in front of Walgreens or Panda Express. The other side by Reuben, there's always people, and yet our ridership is improving, but not. It doesn't match what I'm seeing. And then also in our revenue, our fares have gone up significantly. So if our fares are going up, our ridership should be also going up. And I don't see our ridership increasing as much as I would think with our fares. So we also have to remember we've switched to tablets. So he's gonna have a driver just audit, here's what I got. What does Passio say? Because we may have some falling off that we don't realize, and the tablets are more complicated than just like somebody got off. They're trying to put that person at a location, and so there are, in the past, we've had times where if the driver hits the ridership after they've left the geo fence, it throws it into an unknown category. And if you don't know to go find it, you don't know that it's over there somewhere. And so we are gonna do just kind of a little bit of background work and just see if we audit the routes here and there, does it match what Passio is telling us? And then we've also been kind of digging in the reports just to make sure, like, is mileage calculating correctly, our formulas in these spreadsheets, etc. So we are trying to do like internal audit cleanup to make sure that what we're reporting is as accurate as we can get. Because I think ridership is better than we're currently reporting. I think it has been for at least 2 years better than what we're currently reporting. Just because, like, she put stuff in the bus shelters a couple days ago because we have brand new schedules out, due to the changes. And, oh, can you grab some? Because we changed. Schedules and everything. And there were all kinds of people telling her how wonderful the service is and how they can't live without it, and there's people at every bus stop. And yet our ridership is just trickling up, so I think there might be some hidden. Here's our new schedules. Bus. There is a Sam Squatch in the schedule. Chrysler is our new model driver on the front. It used to be Alan, our dispatcher. Now it's Chrysler. And if you don't know, Sam Squatch is our new mascot. We have some killer sweatshirts we've been wearing that have Sam Squatch on them. And say Sam Squatch Squad down the arm.
Oh,
That are
nice.
pretty sweet. That Muna made. They're so cute. She's
Maybe
great.
it's for some reason.
I have a feeling you'll see them around at some point. Yeah, they look great. Look great.
Okay, financials?
So
Money.
yes, money. So we're doing fine. I have a printout. I'm not gonna do any grand, if you're online, you got those emailed to you as well. I know I pointed out before, but I'll point it out again. This is the first year that the county's services and their cost is separate from ours. So on the first page, you see at the top Sam's revenue. There are some revenue items that we only get twice a year. And so, for example, interest from Stiff only gets calculated at the end of the year. So there's nothing there. Vehicle maintenance revenue, we don't have a new building yet, so that's not going to come in. Admin, I'm sorry, I'm actually going opposite how you would read. Admin overhead revenue. That is something that will get transferred, and we've had kind of a delay in payments from the county for a variety of reasons. So, there's not really anything in there yet because we have received money from them, but our finance department will go in quarterly and transfer the money over from the county. So he'll charge the county and move it over to us. Those are the only things that are really, let's say we still need 100% of those funds, I think. If you go to page 2, which is page 17 of 33, you will see 740-100, we had to buy computers, and that was an unexpected cost. It turns out that most of our computers would not have been supported any longer because we had to move to Windows or something, one of those things. And so we had to get all new computers for dispatch and admin. So that was unexpected, and you see that we have negative 338% remaining in that budget line item. But that's okay. We have enough in contingency to cover some computers. And we spent about 200,000 more on the buses, the big Gilligs, than I had in the budget. So we went a little over there, but again, we are still doing okay in our actual overalls. And that is about the end of that. If you have any questions for me regarding our financials, reach out to me and I'll be happy to answer any questions. This is February's financials. It just got sent out, so this is about as up to date as I could possibly give you. This goes out to all the department heads and the city council and is posted on the city's website every month. So if you ever have questions about our finances, they're always available on the website. Transparency is key.
Since Christina's not here, do you have the neighbor update? Anything?
She didn't send anything over. I know they've been working hard. I know they've met with, the CPO on the mountain Monday. Monday night, I was gonna go and then had a conflict. So, I wasn't able to be there, but they're working hard with the mountain on, getting a transit hub at, government camp. It's happening. They have funding. There's been some back and forth with ODOT about who's in charge. Is it ODOT? Is it the county?
Shocking, absolutely shocking.
No, you're in charge. No, you're in charge. When I say it's a hub, it's, it's not like an operation center like this. It's more of like our transit center up here. And I believe it has the ability to have room for 3 or 4 buses and then, shelter and a restroom. So, but that's really needed. I hope that happens. I believe that it will happen as part of the larger rest area relocation that's happening up there, but. Is it really?
It's smoke.
It's smoke.
Is it smoke?
Might be, might be.
Do you guys want me to shut this door?
Yeah.
Fine. Okay, fine. I can't think of any other updates because I don't think they've had a lot of service changes that I can think of. It's been such a mild winter. Zach has no idea.
You're not easy this year.
Usually I've got like this pit in my stomach all winter that, let it stop being snow and ice on the mountain because I'm so worried about the drivers all winter. It's been,
nice.
right?
I'll take it every year I can.
Every year, it has been nice. We aren't getting, those texts and drivers stuck on the mountain till 1 in the morning or any of that. None of it. So. It's been really nice. So I don't know any other updates for them that we would. Yeah. Do we have public comment?
All of myself will say is, it's about time. City of Sandy bring those bus stops. I do understand why it took so long because of uncertainty with climate, but for me and my 2 younger cousins, they prefer to go to Estacada or to Gresham because they weren't always sure what is a stop or not.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely agree.
and that's part of the reason why, even though they wanna take it,
Yeah.
they don't.
Yep.
So happy about that. And
Right.
due to every single. For me, with every single budget plans that all 10 counts, even here in TriMet. Even one in August, I have been reworking. Of my stop, my 2 younger cousins. One thing I'm now doing for my 2 younger cousins, which is kind of a risky endeavor. But it is an alternative to that 9 o'clock service if they want to go to government camp on Monday through Thursday. Because Winona County has recently started a program that is called Uber for Teens. New York
Oh,
City
great.
has this program 3 years ago, but they recently expanded it to Winoma County. The problem is it has limitations. For one, this county is not part participating to the Ubers for Teens program. Technically, they can still go to Sandy because it's borderline. So actually, Winoma County can travel here. But the problem is Uber Caracas cannot. Meaning if drivers from Gresham, which is unlikely because it's around 680,000. If coverage that high can't have drivers down to Sandy, they're pretty much SOL unless their parents pick them up from Sandy, from Morgan City, or actually any other city outside of Sandy. So I understand why that flag was cut, because even I acknowledged in my two, because it also said it's usually just in the bus. I understand why it was cut. But there's no easy solution to this problem if you wouldn't want to go beyond sand. If you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. You could still go to government camp, you just wouldn't be able to get back out of Sandy.
That is correct, and that's why they're using Uber for Teens for that 9 o'clock.
that bus. That bus
Substitute,
lane.
yes.
That's a good solution, I hope that actually works.
Well, they did try it 4 times actually.
Great,
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Right.
yes, I mean, it's not more expensive, they tend to pay like $18. Versus $1 like before,
right,
but to me, it's worth it because. I encourage my cousins to be as independent as possible. Because it's getting tougher now due to controlling today, there's no service out there, and it's a shame because there's 6 kids camps out there being not being used anymore. But it's how it is, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much all I gotta say.
well, I hope that they, I hope they use the service, not their bus stop signs.
I mean. There's one thing I could say about that 840 bus service coming from town center here. That includes me, if you're working out here. They and I will never use it. So I'll be honest. With them, they might take that 1120, I think 1120 leaves that town center. They might use that to take advantage of a local event from Sandy, which they do regularly. There's a lot out here that is not offered in other cities. But the problem is, the reason why you won't use it at 840 service is because even if you leave going to Gresham around this area 7:30, it's still faster going to Oregon City. It still is, partly because, FX2, which they removed 30% of the bus stops, the next couple of years will be FX72, be the same thing,
Right.
which will make Max a big laughing stock, more or less. That's why they want to Gresham versus the town center.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, take that feedback out as you would.
TriMet did cut a lot of service out of Cloggins County. So
Yeah, I mean,
that will probably have an impact at some points. Yeah,
but that's all I'll say though.
okay. Thank you. How about online? Are you guys,
Still with us?
yeah, still with us? Got questions? Got comments?
No, I'm still here. I don't have any questions. I did have a comment to make though, and I don't know how much money is available for advertising or such thing as billboards and stuff like that. But with what's happening with gasoline prices, it reminded me of an advertisement that ran one time several years ago in Washington, D.C., and which the TriMet there, or the Metro, uh, uh, that ran this ad, and it talked about the message was that the commute time during rush hour traffic going from Virginia over the Potomac to DC increased like 300%. It took 2 hours to drive it during rush hour, and non-rush hour was like half an hour. Okay. And they said, but the message also said, well, with Metro, it's the same. Doesn't matter whether it's rush hour or not rush hour, the commute time is still the same. And I thought about with the gasoline prices, gasoline prices have gone up, let's say 30%, 40% in the past couple of weeks. However, the trolley is still the same price. Nothing, zero.
Yeah.
What a neat message, or that the sending that ride to the mall is still $1. What a neat message that would be to communicate how much gasoline prices have increased here recently, but mass transit is still the same.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. And we do have a marketing budget. It's not huge. We just had a meeting with iHeartRadio. They are working with TriMet already on a transit is safety message. And so they sent over stuff that I honestly haven't looked at yet. I don't know if you have. I think it's gonna be pretty expensive though, after talking to him. And I don't know that we'll be able to afford it. But we are starting to think about some of those avenues. I know City Council has made it a goal for transit to market, especially the shopper rental, because it's local, it's available for free, as you said, and it's safe. And they have given us, which we increased our marketing budget by a lot. Actually, it used to be really, really tiny. Because City Council was like, get your message out there, especially around the local services and especially around the safety. Because a lot of people have transit in cities in their mind like it's not safe, and Sam doesn't look like that at all. Yeah, we will. That's a good point though, to talk about gas prices. Yeah. So, one thing I didn't mention that I should before we go home tonight is that we have put in our application to the planning department, and it has been accepted and marked as complete for permits for our new building. We have a couple more permits that we have to apply for. The basic plan is that, we get all our permits by our permit application by March 31st. We will hold those permits for about 6 months, and then we will start doing various inspections to start construction. We're putting in for grants. We will probably try to move ahead. What I think I'm gonna do is separate the work on this building from the other project so that we can be going and started, and our permits are valid, because we can't just sit on our permits, right? We have to show that we're moving forward on our construction. So we'll probably start this project first while we continue to try to get money and funding for that project. Tyler and I, the city manager, Tyler, we have a finance director, Tyler, too. So the city manager, Tyler, we're talking today about, the city has invested a lot of money in this building. I've spent about $450,000 at this point on planning and permits for this. We got zone changes so that it would be cheaper when we built. None of that was free. So I'm gonna build that darn building, whether we get that grant or not. We will find a way to start sticking some shovels in the ground next October.
And that's the one with the garage and the washing station that
Yep.
we approved
Yep.
at planning commission.
Yeah. So, we already have a grant for the match. We have 900,000 in match. So I have a meeting tomorrow with someone to try and come up with some this is our second meeting on creative ways to fund this thing, but. Just know, and I hope you support us in the fact that we are going to build it, because if we don't, apparently the code changes. So codes change almost every year, right? And there were some significant changes in code to structure for energy purposes, I think, and to plumbing, I want to say. So if we don't move forward and use the plans we have, we will have to go back through the planning process and replan to the new codes, and it's like another $100,000. Exactly. And with more strict codes than what are currently in place, especially around the energy consumption. So we're gonna do it one way or another.
C1 and C2 specifications that we approved by reps also. If the energy codes change, all of them just gets. muddy.
And that's why we had that March 31st deadline, to get our applications in, because that seals our code date. Yeah. So, there's something that didn't change. The county didn't change any codes, and something else didn't change. But every year codes change. So if we don't use that design and those permits, we're gonna be back at the drawing table, and I don't wanna do that. So we're gonna be on a hard push for money.
Dress up as Sam Squatch.
Right? Yeah. Just the other day, I was thinking, man, we should have put a coffee cart right in our parking lot, like 4 years ago when Mountain Express started going out of here. We could have saved all that money and built a $4 million project.
You know what, you're right.
Cause Nancy was like talking about the coffee shop over there, and she's like, who comes down here for coffee? All those riders, all these years could have bought a cup of coffee right there from us. And we've done that. Anyway.
A little bake sale with their coffee.
Yes. Yeah, we used to talk about it all the time, putting one up at the transit center. Remember how they used to have the little VIP cart or whatever, or VIJ?
Oh, yeah.
Cart was there
Yeah.
just for a little
Teriyaki.
while, teriyaki. And I was,
VJ.
yes, and we were like, we should put a coffee of just and trolleys actually come with these, you can buy a little trailer that attaches to the trolley and matches. We were like, we're gonna buy one of those and sell coffee out of it.
You've done very well with those intentions. Might just be a little bit of change in there for a little coffee machine.
Yeah, nothing super fancy.
No.
Like not having
No,
a menu.
nothing super fancy, just if you want coffee or hot chocolate and bagels and
Yeah.
little packets of
Yeah.
cream cheese.
Yeah, nothing that requires anybody to be too fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, my kid would have bought all of it.
See,
It was
right?
raining.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. It's raining and you're waiting for a bus. Who isn't gonna buy a hot coffee
Or not chocolate.
or a hot chocolate? Yeah,
Mhm.
or she can always go to Mountain Milk.
And you wanted the new.
Less menu, more efficient.
Yep, and you don't miss your bus for
Right.
sure. Yep.
Right?
No way.
Make
They'll
people
need
stick to-
they'll need a copy like that up there, it could be. And you got.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. The rest area redo. And the transit hub, that'd be a good place for hot chocolate. Yeah. Doesn't have to be fancy.
No,
Yep.
don't have a hairy little cup like Sam's. Club.
Yeah.
And then it'd be warm. So
And you don't have to have, you can
Sam's
save money on the
Squatch
koozie, the
koozies.
koozie things, just a little hairy band. No one would ever forget it.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm writing it down.
Oh, jeez.
Then they could get 50 cents off their next purchase when they bring their cozy down.
When they bring their hairband back, a little hairy cup holder.
I love it. All right.
Sasquatch eats, and then that's
Yeah.
available.
Yeah. Sasquatch snaps. Trail mix.
Yeah.
Trail mix.
Sasquatch trail.
All right, I feel like there was something else that I said, no, there is a lot going on, but I think that's it. But I feel like there's something else. Oh, I was gonna tell Christina we got our IGA signed.
Oh, awesome.
She's not here, so.
I do want to make everybody, the June date is earlier than, it's not third Wednesday. People have vacations.
My family reunion.
June date would. what's the
June
next
10th. June 10th.
June.
If there's no other comments or questions. The meeting be adjourned.
Thank you all. Right on time. Look at that. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
Chris.
Good night.